So I studied for a year in Xiamen in China, and while I was there I got the opportunity also to travel all around to different places in the country, mainly in the south. So I went to Ningbo and Nanjing, Fuzhou.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in China growing up. I've lived in Nanjing, Wuxi, and later in Shanghai. In Nanjing and Wuxi, I went to school, and later in Shanghai I was working in advertising and public relations.
So I have a great impression of China. I love China so much. It's such a warm and welcoming place full of amazing, diverse groups of people. Anywhere you go, you can find somebody to help you with whatever you need, to show you around.
Of course, it's changing all the time. I was born in 1980. That is when China had the policy, national policy of economy as the core center of the policy. And then for those 30 years, I can see the economic development has massively changed. And then I can see the GDP in the country has become the second largest economy in the world. And that makes everyone are really proud of the achievement.
I've always been very positive. I have a lot of friends from China, and I've always found China to be home for me. Working there can be a very high stressful environment. There's a lot of expectations, but for me it's always been a very rewarding experience. And also in my current job, I work with Chinese companies based in the UK and in Europe, so that experience has helped me a lot in my career.
One unforgettable experience that I had in China was when I visited a good friend of mine in Chongqing, where we spent Chunjie, Chinese New Year, just eating and meeting her family and drinking, and we had such a good time. Everyone was so welcoming, and it was just brilliant. Toasting with everybody and meeting all of her family and friends. Yeah, the food in Chongqing is excellent. Very spicy. It took a bit of getting used to, but worth it. It's so tasty.
When I was very little, I went to a Chinese kindergarten for a while, which was very different from the German kindergarten that I'd left. It was much more regimented, so I remember the teacher coming around with a ruler to check that we were holding the book the correct 30 centimeters from our face when we were doing our reading.
So I've been back to China a few times over the past 10 years, and one of the things that I've noticed is just the speed of change and development in the country, especially when it comes to things like modernizing and, you know, innovating in terms of, say, payment systems, for example. In a restaurant, ordering things from a menu via a QR code, which is something that existed in China years ago and was really common, and yet here we're only now kind of catching up, partly due to the coronavirus.
My wife had been taking kids back to China every year. And every year we have seen the massive changes. The regeneration project have going on in Beijing. The new Beijing airport has been one of the biggest one in Asia, I believe. And also all the regional development, the new kind of like railways, the new infrastructure projects that actually make people really happy, because make people easy to travel from A to B, and also it actually speed up all the economic development.
Yeah, so I've been back to China more or less every year since I've moved away. Obviously it's not possible or not so easy at the minute with coronavirus. One of the things I've definitely noticed is the way that automation and technology has really sort of swept through China. The fact that you almost never pay with cash anymore. Everything is done over Alipay or WeChat Pay. Things have just moved in certain ways a lot faster than they have in Europe as well. And the rate of change and the way that people welcome change, I think, is very different from in Europe.